listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Good morning, and we do thank you for listening. And as things have it, as our favorite Biden would say, COVID-9. Well, he missed it by 10. COVID-10 or 19 has taken its toll on many things, including some of our travel. And we have Shi Deru, our master kung fu person, coming in, but he's running a little bit late due to some traffic situations. So he will be in about 11:20, something like that. And I knew I was going to take up the slack, and I hope you all don't mind. This is David. I'm the one that's responsible for all of this, good, bad, or indifferent. But I got to, pardon me?
It's all your fault.
It's all my fault, yes. And I catch a lot of flack for it every now and then. But I was thinking, as I knew I was going to have to do a little bit of talking, and we were going to start, and we will be starting all of the shows that Shi Deru does, our Kung Fu master, by a few minutes of meditation. And since he's not here, I'm not going to do it, although I do meditate. In fact, many times a day, when I have a chance, I will take some deep breaths and try to relax my mind. And I was thinking there are a lot of folks out there that are listening to us, and I'm sure over the days and years and time that many of you have taken some type of yoga or martial arts or something, but you may have forgotten how powerful and useful meditation is, and particularly today. And the ability to meditate and take the deep breaths, hold them and exhale them, and the amount of good meditation does for your body, your mind. And one of the big things with the COVID-19 is the fact that if you have a boosted immune system, and I'm not a doctor, and nor am I trying to act like a doctor or anything else, but they have proven that if you have a good immune system, that's enough to fight COVID-19. And so we're encouraging everybody to go back to when they were in high school or college or young, before they started the families or whatever, and get back to meditation. And it's very, as all of you know, it's very quick and very easy and very stimulating. And I personally have gotten back to a couple of things that, meditation, and then a chance to express my opinion religiously, and also back to exercising. And I find in some of the exercising, it's a good time. You can do both the exercise and meditation, and just think about your entire body and the fact that you're putting God's gift to us all, oxygen, into our system, and oxygenating our lungs, our brains, our kidneys, everything else. And that will help us as far as this COVID-19 virus, and getting rid of it, and hopefully staying rid of it. And I don't know, the Michigan governor has gone nuts, totally wacko on her shelter at home, stay at home type thing, and having her law enforcement folks give out tickets for some of the craziest things I've ever heard of. But she's governor and I'm not. And all I ask is that everybody try to take care of themselves. If you feel comfortable wearing a mask, wear a mask. If you feel comfortable not wearing a mask and getting knives thrown at you, or looks of knives thrown at you at the grocery store, well, then wear a mask, or don't, whatever you want to do. But keep in mind, we are the most powerful country in the world, and we will be the first to get through all of this. And we'll come out on the other side better than we were going in. And we appreciate all the folks that have been listening to America's Web Radio, and want to remind everybody that all the shows are archived on our website. You're welcome to go there and download any show. At the same time, I think many of you may have heard in the previous show that I mentioned the fact that one of our hosts, General Richard Dix, has been called back up to active duty. And this is what makes our country so different and so great from everybody else. And that's the fact that Richard Dix was called up yesterday, Monday, and that's because he's a logistics expert. He did the logistics on getting our tanks and our men moved into Iraq and Iran during Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and getting the tanks painted from OD green to desert colors, and knew where every tank was, and knew when and why, and APC and everything else. And Richard, it makes me feel good from the standpoint that I have just a little bit of knowledge, but if the government called up Richard Dix to go back into the military, back as a general, to do something, they are calling on the best. And it makes me feel good that America's Web Radio, we have a number of bests, as a matter of fact, but it's nice to know that one of our best, General Dix, is fighting the COVID-19 virus. And that's just sort of neat. And he'll be back on the air within, we think, a couple of 2 or 3 weeks. But, it's flattering to know the kind of people that we have. Chance Ritchie was just on, and Chance is an incredible young man. And his father and I are close friends, and I've known Chance since he was born. And he is very, 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 very successful. And he does a great show, and he knows tons and tons of people. And over the next however long he's with us, and I hope it's a long, long time, but Chance will be bringing on some incredible guests. Now, with that being said, we also have another gentleman that supports us. And when I say supports us, with people that we can interview. And yesterday was an incredible example of this. And that's a gentleman named Rick White. And once we're over this COVID-19, we encourage you to go downtown Atlanta, or if you're traveling through, go to downtown Atlanta to the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. And the director of the Hall of Fame is retired Colonel Rick White. And Rick has become a very close friend and helped us get so many different veterans on and telling their stories, be it Vietnam, be it even World War II, and men, women, all sorts of folks. And yesterday we had a gentleman on, and in fact he's going to be on some more, as a matter of fact, and in many different ways. But we had a gentleman named Tommy Clack, C-L-A-C-K, and he was inducted into the Hall of Fame a number of years ago, and he's a triple amputee. And he was they weren't even sure it was whether it was a IED type explosive or an incoming explosive that got him in Vietnam, but he lost both legs and his right arm from the shoulder down. And yet he still hunts, he still fishes, and he is the most inspiring individual that I think I've ever talked to. I haven't met him, although he lives around the corner from me, and we are going to meet very soon. But Tommy Clack, C-L-A-C-K, just incredible. And if you think you got problems, rest assured, you ain't got any problems. And when I talked to Tommy, I talked to him night before last, and then I talked to him and thanked him again last night for being on. And Tommy, he gives speeches, by the way. If you have a club or a organization that you're looking for an inspirational speaker, here's a man that you can't even say overcame. You have to say overcame. And I just can't imagine the circumstances and what Tommy does today. And he drives. I said he hunted and fishes, and he also drives. And just talking to him, first time I talked to him and hung up, I could hardly sleep just thinking about what this guy has to go through that you and I think are routine, or you and I totally take for granted every day. Has to be a struggle for Tommy. And I asked him yesterday on the interview, I said, well, who's helping you every day? And he said, I don't have help. I don't want help. My parents taught me to be independent, and I am. So, need I say more? Put yourself in the same spot. You've lost your right arm and right hand. You don't have enough left of your legs to have prostheses, and you're making it in this world with a great attitude. And like Tommy said yesterday, he wakes up every morning thanking God for a new day and that he's alive, and that it was God's plan for him to be alive. So, you know, it's a deal of have you said what you needed to say today? And so when she gets in here, we're going to do a little bit of meditation, just because that's what we've been talking about. And he ought to be in here very shortly, I think. He had said about 20 after, so I expect him to be in sometime between 20 after and 30 after. And we hope that you're having a good day. I want to remind you that we have so many shows that are so fantastic. We have one called Agent in Charge, and this is done by a gentleman that I know, Sandy Bostic, and he was with FBI, Homeland Security, and a couple of other federal investigative agencies, and his show was about federal investigations on Wednesday. Talking about interesting, holy cow, who's looking over your shoulder or at your back or following you? And Sandy will be talking more about federal investigations as time goes on, and Sandy and his wife also, and we'll be advertising this very shortly, also raise Wagyu beef, and that is the best of the best. And if you've never heard of Wagyu, look it up. Wagyu. All you have to say is in Google, when you have it on speaker or on a microphone, just say Wagyu, and it'll explain exactly what kind of beef it is. Very, very good. And we'll be advertising it. And that reminds me too. Any veteran that's listening, or any parent of a veteran, or lover of a veteran, or whatever relationship you might have with a veteran, if you're starting a new business, no matter what it is or where it is, America's Web Radio will give you free advertising and let people know that you're starting a business in wherever it is. Now, with that being said, for any veteran that's listening that has had to shut down, oh my goodness! There he is. Any veteran that's listening and has had to shut down during the COVID-19, when you are going to be able to open up, we will give you free advertising to open up, or when you open up, and let people know that you're back in business. So with that being said, we'll just yell out, Brett. Brett may not be here, but we need to get Brett in the office and the studio. And While we're waiting on that, we will find out what's been going on with our Kung Fu master. Are you ready to start his? It's going already? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. Well, when you don't know your right hand from your left hand, that's great. It's already going. And Shi, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing, sir?
Shall we take a few moments
No,
to...
it's fine. I was messed up with the Alabama time and the here time.
No problem.
I came from Alabama.
Can we take a few minutes out to meditate?
Yes, good. That's what I want to see. Okay, I just want to come over here. Actually, I meditated from an oblique Alabama to all the way to here, because I just what I did is I put all my attention to on the road in front, and then just all the traffic. And then they begin to move away. So because when you are pay so much attention, and the energy begin to flow. And that's meditation. You put 100% attention, no other thoughts. Because when you drive like that, because I know that my time, it was 1 hour different. And I realized when the moment I realized that 1 hour difference, and then I said, well, I need a call. So I called. And then I immediately put all my energy on the road, no disturbance. So all the road and begin to move so smoothly. That's meditation. 100% attention to your mind and to your body and to the universe. That's what it is. Okay, let's see. What we can do is we just sit like this here. We can put our hands like this, okay? Or we don't have to. We just put our hands on the lap. Take a deeper breath. What I want to see at this point is to listen to yourself. Listen to your breath. Let the breath, feel the breath come in. The breath comes in through your nose. The nose tips all the way to your nostrils, all the way to your lungs, and penetrate down to your diaphragm. Just the first step, just listen and feel that route. And then put a tone up to the upper palate and just listen, just sense, just breathe and see what happens.
And we probably need to move on a little bit because people are thinking we might be off the air when in fact...
Oh, wonderful. Okay, now,
we're not
so
out there.
At the moment, I do not want to say anything because I do not want to lead you to something. I just want you to feel, to sense, to listen to yourself. For the moment, very quiet. let me give you what I see at the moment in time. For that moment, number one, I listen to my breath. My breath becomes very, very light, and lighter and lighter and lighter, comes into through the nose all the way to a diaphragm and begin to penetrate into my body. And then I feel my body. I feel my neurons transmission. I feel all the cells begin to open. I feel, some of things are very, very tight. I just feel it, and things begin to loose. Things begin to open. Things begin to have this moment, just open up. And then, so for that moment in time, my mind doesn't have anything doesn't have anything else in it, because I'm totally into that breath. I'm totally into that feeling. I'm totally into that oxygen penetrate into the lungs, into the cells, into each neurons, and I'm totally into that openness of the mind, the openness along the way. And when I scan through the whole body, through the whole mind, especially the brain.
Shi, one reason that I had called you and asked you if we could do this is the healing portion of meditating, that if you oxygenate yourself well, you're helping your immune system, and they've already proven in the short period of time that a person with a good immune system has the first step on either killing or not getting COVID-19, and that it will help if you are meditating and well oxygenated, chances it may narrow the chances of you getting sick.
This is what happens. Okay, my experience with the SARS is heavy than COVID-19. However, SARS is not as transmittable as COVID-19 because of the larger scale. But this is my experience with the SARS. When I got it, I don't have to have it, but I did get it. When I got it because I want it. Why? Because I was busy. I visited one friend after another. I went in and out of hospital. I went out of different places. And then at the moment I think, well, what if I got it? Because that mind in my mind all the time, and then that did not give me a lot of immune system built. I begin to let it go, let it loose up. So when I got it, and then it's really to penetrate, and I begin to learn my body, how my body fights the virus. That's a very crucial key. Because when you are turning inwardly, you actually see that fighting battle. Your body is totally chaos. Everything is totally in messy situation, like a battlefield. However, at that moment in time, you just observe, just listen, just feel, just sense, just transcend beyond that battle, and you begin to see everything begin to integrate, everything become together. It takes me many days. However, that time slip by like a few minutes, and I feel every moment of it. It's that feel. It's that sense. It's the internal transformation. It is the internal communication. It is the internal silence that reorganization, because all your cells begin to reorganize, begin to deal with the situation. And it was very powerful. And you begin to see your energy begin to elevate, because when you got it, your energy begin to dissipate, and become lower and lower. And when you reorganize, you begin to feel your energy begin to lift up again, and everything else is history. So, for 20, 30 years, I never got influenza, get any flu. Doesn't mean, the flu didn't get me. But before flu got me, I'm already immunized. Because everybody got flu, in Alabama. Everybody got flu in Alabama. I was in Alabama. And I drove to New Orleans. Everybody got flu in New Orleans. And then I drove to Atlanta. And everybody got flu in Atlanta. Almost very, very few people come to class. Why I didn't get it? Because I drove. I went to, all these 3 places. Because I knew it's there. And my body get ready for it. It is a body that energy level ready to meet anything that happens and disintegrate and begin to eliminate anything that is not belong to the body, begin to sort of like a clean the trash, because body has the ability. Our immune system is like that. Instead, why meditation is so important and different from fight with a disease? Because when you fight with a disease, you are equal with the disease. But when you are so powerful, disease is no longer disease. Disease is garbage. Because you are clean up. Because your power of your body, power of your mind, that's your immune system. And you recognize what is your cell and what is invaded cell, what is garbage and what is your good cell. And that is the most important part of the meditation, is self-recognition. That's why self-observation is so important. Begin to calm down instead of chaos. When that chaos, everybody battle each other and you don't know which is good cell and which is a bad cell. And then because your body, your mind, it is totally in chaos. And everybody fight each other. Just like you have a battlefield, and then you don't know which is your own army anymore. And then when you observe yourself and you increase your own battle army, and then your army recognize each other because your sense, your recognition, your organization, your silence, your calmness, and you recognize each other. What are you going to do? When you are in chaos, that is we call autoimmune problems. When you are in such a chaos, that autoimmune problem, because you do not recognize each other at all, and you bomb these enemies, you bomb yourself at the same time. That is the big problem with the immune problems. So, and self-observation is self-recognition, and this is calm down, is increase your energy, and increase your good cells, increase your army, and eliminate trash. That's how it is.
There have been many folks over the years that have, even to my age, at one time or the other have taken judo or kung fu or whatever, and or yoga, depending on what you wanted. But you've learned meditation, and I guess what I'm suggesting now is please remember and go back to it, and the feelings you had when you were meditating on a regular basis, and we'll all help put a stop to this. It may not be instantly, but the strength of meditation, just like she was saying, is that it will help and strengthen your immune system. Breathe, get air into your mind and your lungs and all the rest of your body, and we'll be helping each other.
Yeah, at this point, what I see, without the drugs, without vaccines, I'm not really into vaccine myself, because I never take a vaccine. Because vaccines are extra things. Sometimes your body, and every year the strain becomes different, and you add another vaccine. Okay, what I see the best way to me, and for all these 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and 60 years, and I experienced And the best way is immune system. The people who are around me, who my teacher, my friends, my students, and I work with, hundreds of thousands of people I work with. And my experience best way is your self-empowerment, self-observation through that meditation. That meditation is sort of like give you power, recharge the battery, and eliminate anything that comes in. And that is more powerful than any drugs, any chemicals, because your body can produce chemicals. Your body can produce natural biological chemicals that is produced by you. And then that serotonin, that endorphins, it is produced by you. The dopamine, and it is produced by you. You produce these things, and then they don't have side effect, and then you are producing, and at the same time, you increase your ability to produce more. That is the beautiful thing of your body and your mind. God give you the power. Use it.
You know, we're looking at this like Eastern, I don't want to say Eastern medicine, but meditation. And yet, just what you said, us Westerners have figured it out that if you, I messed up my knee not too long ago, and the meniscus, and the doctor gave me what's known as PRP now, which is platelet-rich plasma. It's taking my own blood, spinning it, centrifuging it, and then putting that back into my knee, helping the meniscus regrow itself, helping me to get rid of the inflammation. And I'm doing it with and basically just what you said. I'm doing it with my own blood, not somebody else's, or not chemically made up or anything else. And Western medicine is really coming forth and forward in many areas of saying, let's use your own ingredients to cure yourself.
Beautiful, yes. And then early 1990s. Okay, 1990. I said last time in one of my talk over here, and I reported my research at the Dome and in Atlanta. 55,000 doctors, researchers, and postdoctors, and medical doctors. They all came up here. Medical scientists came together. And I gave my first report on how the mind-body medicine works. What I called mind-body medicine at that time, it is about meditation, it is about Tai Chi, it is about your way of thinking, it is about your nutrition, how that totally changed your physiology. And I gave a report, and a lot of people who had high blood pressure, who had blood problems, and 7-8 weeks, they totally changed. And then compare to other group who also do activities. Why they do activities like a badminton, like a tennis, and then meditation with the Tai Chi doing better than that group, and then do even better than people don't do anything. That's what I called my mind-body medicine. At that time, people thought it was crazy because most people do drugs, most people do equipment, most people do other chemicals. And then, 10 years later, my idea is everywhere begin to be accepted in the United States. And you go to hospitals, all the hospitals today. Most hospitals have integrated medicine. Most hospitals have mind-body medicine. It is not I was advanced. No, I learned from everybody else. But I just put together and see if that works. But I think it's a time more and more people begin to catch up. And this is a beautiful thing. People begin to recognize our own body, our own mind, our own power, and then how can we make best use of ourselves instead of grab something else, grab outside to seek something outside to heal ourselves. However, while we have the power, we have the energy, we have the consciousness within to heal ourselves, to build that immune system, to build the mind, to build the body, instead of looking for anywhere else to dissipate that energy. What I see, to build energy, to re-establish the energy, to improve the energy, to recharge the battery.
I know you go back to China every now and then.
Yes.
Not frequently, but
Yeah, I teach everywhere. I told normally when I go to China, you will have thousands of people and listen to my talk. Thousands, literally thousands.
So how does the government view what you say?
Because I'm not getting into the politics, what I do in China, a group of people, a lot of people begin to realize the health system in China try to catch up with the West. For trauma, it's a good thing. However, for chronic disease, it's not helping at all. It's getting worse. So they begin a lot of more people begin to realize that disintegrate of the medicine, and more hospitals opened, but more disease, less people get healthy. So more people begin to turn around to wake up, and then they begin to turn people like me. And then the government, of course, they're very, very controlled with a small group. You cannot get a large group, more than 50. But when I'm there, they're happy. Why? Because they have people in certain positions, they want to listen. They have people in certain positions, they want other people to leave us alone. So you have police will leave us alone. The bureaus people will leave us alone. Why? Because they want to be part of it. They want to listen. So because we are not into politics, and then we're into health, they open one eye, close another eye.
Do they ever give you problems as far as going from one area to the next area, or coming back and forth between the states?
Yes, probably they watch me, But okay, but everything I do is for the people. Doesn't matter what kind of politics, what kind of religion, what kind of people. Then they heard my story, they heard my message, they appreciate it. That's more important, because what I approach is humanity. What I approach is health. What I approach is non-religion. What I approach is non-politics. What I approach, this thing, is everybody's, the innate intelligence, the innate consciousness, the innate energy. Everybody needs that energy. Everybody needs that intelligence. Everybody needs to open the self and to empower the self. Despite different religion, despite different beliefs, despite different political divisions, what I'm here is try to see if we can find something together. Together is nobody say, I don't want good health. Nobody say, I don't want to be happy. Nobody say, I don't want to enjoy my life. Nobody say, I want disease. That's it. See, that's the common ground we're in.
It's beautiful. A super thought, and if we all carried that with us all the time, what a wonderful world would be.
Yes. Without divisions, without conflicts, without all this fragmentation. Why? Because our thoughts always are fragmented. Why? Because you collect whatever you want to collect. One of the stories one of my friends also gave me is a psychiatrist. He studied with me, and he has a friend who did some research. They have like 15 people play the games, And the 15 people on this side, 15 people on the other side. One are people with the white shirts, another group with the black shirts. So the two kind of people threw balls, try to catch the ball. So which group can get the balls most on the stage. So they fight for 10 minutes for that ball. And after the ball, they ask people, what else you see between you fighting the ball? So, well, all they say is this group will get 20 times the ball, this group will get 50 times the ball. They argue all the time. They didn't mention anything else. They did not mention anything else. You know what happened during that time? There was a big, gigantic ape came to the stage floor, just fighting with them. They didn't see a thing about this gigantic ape. Why? Because they thought they pay attention only to the balls. They only paid attention to the people who fight the balls. And this gigantic ape came in, they don't even notice. Why? And then they play back and they say, oh my goodness, what an idiot we were. Half of the people didn't see. And only a few people saw something, but they didn't know what it is. But this ape stayed there for a long time and then left. They didn't see a thing about him. So you can see the thoughts only collectively collect what they want to see. Our thoughts is like that. Our memory is like that. So at the moment, 当下, I say in Chinese they call 当下. In American we call see now, conscious now, at this moment, right here, at the moment, pay full attention, 100%. But the people normally they focus. They see this part, they don't see the other part. They see this part, they don't see the other part. They only see the part they want to see. They only see the part that collectively they want to see everything, but they can't. They only see a little piece of the whole thing. That's what it is. So meditation is try to see if you can pay full attention. So what I drove here, that's meditation too. I put in my view, everything. Open up. Including cops, including the cars, including everything. I drove slightly faster than usual. I wanted no stops, and I want to smooth in. I was 15 minutes earlier actually than I thought. But without too much speeding. So, but you pay full attention. It's really, really important. That's 100% attention to your own body. And you can live 10 to 20 years more. But it's not I told my students, it's not how long you live, but the quality of life. I have injured my knees at least 5 times. I was a gymnast. I broke my knee. I broke my back. I had all my arms are broken. 40 years later, I don't have any problems because I pay attention to heal them. I pay attention. One of my students who is medical director for a hospital, and he tried to fix knee for as long as he can remember. That's what he said since his college years, because he messed up his knee. He refused to do surgery because he felt the surgery is not going to do anything good for him. And he himself, I knew a lot of cases, and he himself is the director of the hospital. His name is Tom. Then I told him I can do some acupuncture, I can do some meditation, I can do something to help him to rehabilitate, to get his knee back. We did about 2 months. He said, this is anything I can never imagine can help my knee. And now I can run. I swim, I run. I don't have problems anymore. You saved my life. I said, no. You save your own life, I told him. I did acupuncture, is help you to reconnect. I did meditation, it is your own energy, help you to retranslate, to get your blood, to get your nutrients, to get your body, rebuild the knee. That's all it is. And he was amazed. He said, how could you do that? How did we, as a medical doctor, we never heard of such a thing? And he introduced his head nurse. His head nurse, the same thing. And she was in this pain for so long, and we did together. And then she didn't have problems anymore. And then I introduced others who had, arm problems, shoulder problems, headaches. It's not about the ailments of your body. It is about how you can heal, how you can take care of yourself. Last time, I introduced you guys about Susan, and she used to take 9 kinds of drugs when she was 40s, and she was not sure how long she could live anymore. 2 years or 3 years, the doctors say, as long as you can keep this medicine, but the side effects begin to proliferate, you have to take more medicine to get rid of these side effects. And she was not sure how long she could live anymore. That was 1990. Today, she's much healthier than ever. That's the difference. She doesn't take a single medicine. And then I mentioned last time about her too, with you guys. Her name is Susan Goucher. And I told you guys about her mother, 97 years old, still drive. It's a beautiful thing. And she, at the first, she's a Baptist. She's totally against what her daughter does. And then later she got into it, and she said, "Wow, that's beautiful." It's not interfere with her religion, but really help her to enhance her religion. That's the power of it. Yes.
I love all this. This is opening my eyes up to a different world, a different thought, a different feeling that I think we all need, and particularly today, and can use this. Let me ask, in your experience, meditation, like in a yoga class or something in a class situation, is it better by yourself in your own quiet atmosphere, or can you get the same results from a class situation?
This is a situation. Okay. My philosophy is yourself. Yourself is the best. Why yourself is the best? At the beginning, you can take some classes. It's not a problem. But a lot of times, when you get into too commercialized situation, the whole thing, the scope of things is a little bit different. And I need sincerity. I need you to be serious. I need you to put everything else on the side. I need you to put dependability of others on the side. And then when you improve yourself, it's you. Nobody else can help you. At the beginning, you may get people to help you and to start the engine. It's not a problem. So how you find the right teacher? The teacher, not just about money. Because when people just about money, then they themselves don't know what they're doing. Second, if they lead you to depend on him or her, that's the wrong way. Because when you depend on some person, you become the second person, a slave of another person. You instead of empower yourself. So my experience for all these years, what I see is if you can enlighten yourself, lighten your own light. When you lighten your own light, and that light can last long. That light can follow you and to help you all your life, without depend on, without cling to the past, without cling to the thoughts, without cling to anybody's teaching, rather rely on your inner power, without depend on the authority of another, authority of a book, authority of the past, the thoughts, because all that is useless. The most important is here now, is yourself. You must practice. You must meditate. You must observe yourself. You must see that inner being, that changes inner being, that revolution. Why that revolution? Because you see all these drugs, you see all these material things, you see all this appearance, you see all these people talk, you see all this medicine, you see all these kinds of signals, all kinds of knowledge, all kinds of words give you all these signals, totally confusing you. You have to let them go. Let them go. And keep the quietness into the self-being, to listen to yourself, and you know better than anybody else there is in the world. I don't care what kind of doctor, what kind of master, what kind of guru. I have not a single one. That is really, really, really good. All my 60 years experience. This is my teacher told me. My teacher told me I'm a beginner student. And I begin to see. I practiced this for 60 years. And I begin to see myself as a beginner student. Remember, I used to train 12 hours a day, every single day, for more than 30 years. And even today, I still remain 3 hours a day, every single day, 7 days a week. You know, sometimes I can practice 6 hours a day, sometimes 1 hour, sometimes I can get 8 hours, sometimes I can get 12 hours, but the average, I can get 3 hours a day. But I still consider myself as a beginner because I see there's a lot of things to learn about yourself, about your relationship with the universe, your relationship with God, the supreme intelligence, and your relationship with everybody else. How you manage it, how do you interact it, how do you be alone. It's the most beautiful thing to be alone. It's the most beautiful thing to be into that solitude. And then you begin to see within. You begin to see without. You begin to see that inner connection. You begin to meditate into that innermost consciousness. That consciousness in resonance with the supreme consciousness. That is the beautiful thing. Transcend without knowledge, without feeling, without thoughts, without all these emotions, without any relationship with anybody. The only relationship with the Supreme Being. At that moment in time, your mind is totally frozen. And you have no time, you have no space, you have no feelings, you transcend. And that individual, what I told you last time, that individual cell phone is no longer exist. It transcend with the tower, that transcend with the satellite, transcend with the universe. And that energy, that chi, and that consciousness is forever there. No birth, no death. Because God is always there. Doesn't matter who dies, who lives, God is always there. The Supreme is always there.
This has been, I hope everybody else has enjoyed it as much as I have, and learning as much as I have. And Chi, you're remarkable and wonderful. And I had a gentleman on yesterday.
Yes, sir.
That is a triple amputee from Vietnam.
Yes.
He only has his left hand and arm. That's it. And yet, extremely inspiring. Nothing stops him. He hunted before before he was wounded. He fished before he was wounded. He fishes today and he hunts today. And he does everything for himself. And I didn't ask him, but I'm going to, if he's been into meditation or does meditate. I know he's very, very religious. And, he gets his strength from the most powerful. And
beautiful. A lot of times, when you sincerely, seriously get into that prayer, and that is meditation, because you put 100% attention to your experience, your inner peace, your inner mind, your inner consciousness, in resonance with God, with the Almighty, without asking for material things, without all these commotions, without anything else, because your sincerity, your inner peace, your inner mind, your inner intelligence is totally connected. When you're in that situation, that's as similar as in any meditation. So 100% into it. You've got to be 100%. If you I pray, I want to do business with God. Sorry. That's a different story. I'm not into that. Yeah. A lot of people do that. That's true.
Yeah. Shi, this is wonderful. If you're listening and you have questions that you'd like to send in for next week.
No problem. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I see is whatever kind of health problems you have, I'm glad to, I'm not to say, well, I can heal you. No, I don't. What I do is, if I can give you a little bit sparkle of the light, and you can use that sparkle to lighten your own light. And when you lighten your own light, you continuously, persistently, consistently to have the light to enlighten yourself, and to unveil that inner intelligence, to recharge that battery, and to transcend. That is beautiful thing.
So go on Facebook, go on YouTube, and if you have a comment you want to make a comment, and she will address the issue next week or in the coming weeks. And this is just, I'm thrilled that we can mix East and West, and we need to right now, as a matter of fact. And there's a lot of misrepresentation.
Exactly. This is what I see. I'm not focusing on politics, divisions, fights, who is wrong, who is right, who is this, who is that. That's not my focus. My attention is about my own inner peace.
With that, folks, we're going to have to wrap it up. I've let the time get away from me, but we'll be back next week. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be here on time tomorrow, next time. Okay, thank you.
You're the only one worrying about it, not me.
That's good.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Will be in the